John sat down to show his kids a picture of his first time that he went fishing with his dad and his dad's friends. The reason for showing this was that today is the day he would bring the kids for their first fishing experience. His son, a 4-year-old, was sitting on his lap and his daughter, 8, was watching over his arm. The pictures showed him and his father and Alex, his father's best friend, all smiling beside of him, and he in the middle holding a fish as big as himself. He was only 8 years old back then. "Daddy, who'd take the photo?" his daughter asked. "Max did," John said. "Who is Max, Daddy?" daughter asked. "He was Grandpa's most best friend, and he is in heaven with Mommy now." John felt a wave of sadness and depression dawn on him as he remembered that awful day that his dad told him Uncle Max was killed by a bear attack. He snuck out immediately to where the bear attacked and got a glimpse of the torn and mangled body. That day was the second worst day in his life, behind the day he lost his beautiful wife, Anna. He shouldn't let sadness and depression get in the way of making today the happiest day of his children's life. So he collected himself quickly as he was going to say something when Michael, his son, suddenly shouted, "Who is that, Daddy?" pointing at a human-like figure in the distance in the background of the picture with his features not being clear. John dismissed the figure and just said, "It is possibly another hunter. Let's just put on your shoes and head to the lake." The children shouted in joy, and John felt happier and had a slight smile on his face. Suddenly, a loud scream was heard by the family. A haunting, deafening scream. Getting closer and louder before anyone could react, the door was torn and a huge yet skinny being appeared, screaming with long eyes with sharp claws attached to its end. Picked up Michael and torn in half. As John stood shocked and terrified, Julia, the daughter, screamed in shock as she was attacked next, as she was decapitated by the swish movement of the monster's hand. Then John, defeated and in tears, was attacked viciously and ripped just like his uncle Max was, the night of the day he took that picture. After killing all the family, the monster screamed for the last time, then sat down and put his hands over his face and remained docile in a fetal position. Welcome to SCP-096, also known as the Shy Guy. Item SCP-096, Object Class Euclid. Special Containment Procedures. SCP-096 is to be contained in its cell, a 5 by 5 by 5 airtight steel cube at all times. Weekly checks for any cracks or holes are mandatory. There are to be absolutely no video surveillance or optical tools of any kind inside SCP-096 cell. Security personnel will use pre-installed pressure sensors and laser detectors to ensure SCP-096 presence inside of the cell. Any and all photos, video, or recording of SCP-096 likeness are strictly forbidden without approval from Dr. Redacted and Council Number 05 Redacted. Description: SCP-096 is a humanoid creature measuring approximately 2.38 meters in height. Subject shows very little muscle mass, with preliminary analysis of body mass suggesting mild malnutrition. Arms are grossly out of proportion with the rest of the subject's body, with an approximate length of 1.5 meters each. Skin is mostly devoid of any pigmentations with no sign of any body hair. SCP-096's jaw can open to 4 times that a norm of an average human. Other facial features remain similar to an average human with the exception of the eyes, which are also devoid of pigmentation. It is not yet known whether SCP-096 is blind or not. It shows no signs of any higher brain functions and is not considered to be sapient. SCP-096 is normally extremely docile, with pressure sensors inside its cell indicating it spends most of the day pacing by the eastern wall. However, when someone views SCP-096's face, whether it be directly via video recording or even a photograph, such as this case, it will enter a stage of considerable emotional distress. SCP-096 will cover its face with its hands and begin screaming, crying, and babbling incoherently. Approximately 1 to 2 minutes after the first viewing, SCP-096 will begin running to the person who viewed its face, who will from now on be referred to as SCP-096-1. Documented speeds have varied from 35 km to redacted km per hour and seems to be dependent on the distance of SCP-096-1. At this point, no known material or method can impede SCP-096 procedure and progress. The actual position of SCP-096-1 does not seem to affect SCP-096 response. It seems to have an initiate sense of SCP-096-1's location. Note, this reaction does not occur when viewing artistic depictions such as the document follow 096-1. Upon arriving at SCP-096-1's location, SCP-096 will proceed to kill and torture and mangle the SCP-096-1. 100% of cases have left no traces of SCP-096-1. SCP-096 will then sit down for several minutes before regaining its composure and becoming docile once again. It will then attempt to make its way back to its natural habitat. Due to the possibility of a mass chain reaction including breach of Foundation's secrecy and large civilian loss of life, retrieval of the subject should be considered alpha priority. Thank you for watching this video. Please drop a like and subscribe for more. This story was written based on the information in SCP Wiki, but the story is original about the SCP-096 as it is written by myself. And a huge thank you to a called friend for yet another amazing animation. Please subscribe to him as well and support him. This is Dr. Grimm out.